Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the VFG podcast. Today I am here with Jonathon to talk about round 4 of the men's A-League competition with the Phoenix going up against Melbourne City. Hi Jonathon, what did you think of the game?
Hey Blake, I was quite enthusiastic about the game. I quite liked the way it went. I think the first 20 minutes, half an hour, we were in control. We were dominant. Then the boys kind of nodded off for 20 minutes, half an hour. Melbourne came back. But then in that last 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, we absolutely dominated and deservedly got a 2-2 draw. What did you see?
I thought it was much better than the previous game against Newcastle. I thought there was much more, up there, and it was still not great, but they're definitely starting to collect. Okay, and at the beginning of the season, I will say that I was starting to get a bit worried. Oh, here we go. This is going to be another one of those seasons where we get draw after draw after draw. But I think we're finally starting to click together. I think, even though we're not quite there yet, the gelling is coming, and I think, the wind will start flowing soon.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, Blake. One thing that I noticed that happened differently yesterday was that the Knicks back four were playing further back than they have the last couple of weeks. So the last couple of weeks against the Jets and the Mariners and the Jets both overloaded the our half, with their attackers, and so our defenders were trying to play too far up the field. This week, our defenders fell back into a better position, and we had a better outcome. Admittedly, Melbourne weren't overloading the area. They weren't sending so many forwards of their mid and forwards down, but that's okay. It was we really dominated most of that first half.
I like the tactic that they were using, where although I thought they would brought it on a bit late, where they brought the quality on at the end, the boosting tactic, as I call it, because it used a lot in the UK, where they bring all the, not star power per se, but the quality on near the end to try and win the game. But I think if they're going to use that tactic, it was a bit late for me. I like the idea of using the tactic, but for me it was a little late.
Yeah, we've got some very good players, and obviously Offie wanted to send a message, which was if you don't perform, you're not going to be starting. And the guys who came on, who were boosted on the field in that later part, they obviously got the message that they needed to pull finger, and they all played very well. They all contributed.
But that boost was really helpful, because before that we were sort of dead.
Yeah. No, coming into that second half, being 2-0 down off two pretty average, scores from them. Melbourne didn't really work hard to get them. They just kind of managed to get a couple of goals. So coming in, the boys were a little bit flat coming in that second half. But Ugarkovic came on, Stas went off, Zavada came on, Acosta came on. That was exactly the energy that we needed, and it showed. Ending up with a 2-2 draw against the reigning champs. Bloody fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of Costa, there's been a lot of chatter on the forums and the different groups that he might not be the quality that he was, and I sort of thought that at the beginning of the season too. But after last night, I think he's still got the goods.
Yeah. He can still run. He can still shoot. He knows his place on the field. I think him dropping back to the bench was a good thing. Against the Jets, he was all out at sea. He didn't really know where he was meant to be on the field. That chemistry with his fellow players was missing. But yesterday he got it right. He came on late. That later part, he got boosted into the field, added some pizzazz, and got slotted that beautiful ball down into the bottom corner. Ugarkovic, old Costa, just that nice little boom down into the bottom corner. Bloody beautiful.
Because on a bad day he should retire, but on a good day, I think he got enough. I think when he's on a good form, he's too good for the Australian League. I think
Sounds like, yeah. Keep going.
I think he got the quality to be able to go overseas on a good day. Yes, he's in his mid-30s at 32 to 35 range, but on a good day, he could still be in Japan. He could still be in a Israeli team or Korean team or lower league of the UK, even
Sounds
Japanese.
like another player and another team that we often disagree about. But that's for a whole different podcast. That's a whole different team, and we'll talk about that when the rugby league season comes around again. But that Costa, he's still got it. I mean, he may not have the flat out speed that he had when he was younger, but he's got nous. He's got game nous and game intelligence. I think he's good for the squad. He's good for the team.
Now, who did you like in this game? For me,
yeah. For me, it was Sam Sutton.
Yeah.
Sam Sutton's goal, absolute firecracker. He just absolutely blasted it into the net, and he was working hard all day. Who did you have?
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you watched the other games, but that wasn't the big goal of the weekend.
Oh, I don't know. There was another goal that Perth scored that was a banger.
Yeah, that's
too.
the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that was that was a cracker.
Yeah. So the goal that Sutton scored and the goal that guy from Perth scored would both be possible contenders for goal of the year or goal of the season, I should say.
That Sutton goal was quality, though.
It was almost as good as Vince Leah's banger way back in the old days, but
And the white
I think that was the only goal Vince Leah ever got. Who did you have? Who did you pick? Who were your standouts yesterday?
So, Pryor and Ball.
Yep. What did you like about Ball? Because he only played half the game.
I really like him in that number 10 role. What do you think? I think that number 10 role really suits him. I wasn't sure about it at first, but it really surprised me.
Yeah, I think it gives him a bit more range around the field, up the front there, and and with the stronger midfield that we've got and the good wingers, I think it really sets Ball up to have a good season up in that number 10 spot.
Mm-hmm. Because I reckon if he has a good season, he could be a start for us.
Okay. All right, let's see. Let's wait and see. I also like Ben Old yesterday. I said before the season started, I thought Ben Old was going to have a standout season, and it's starting to happen now. So watch this space. I reckon Ben Old's going to be going on to bigger and better things after this season, or maybe even during the halfway point. Who knows?
One of the players that was a real disappointment for me for the first time this season was the Wayne trainer, Ben Wayne. I didn't think he did very much for me in this one.
It was just a different game. He just couldn't find his way into the game. The ball just for whatever reason didn't go his way. It was just one of those days, and everyone has them occasionally. And just yesterday, that's just the way that played out.
Now, as we wrap here, we've got next round is round 5, I believe, and we've got MacArthur.
Yep.
On Sunday at Sky Stadium. Our first of 2 games at home before the break for the FIFA World Cup.
Yep.
So, how do you reckon we'll go in those? First,
I reckon
MacArthur game.
MacArthur, we should blast them off the park. I think we've got the players, we've got the class, we've got the chemistry. We need to go out there and roll them. We've already dropped 2 games at home that were draws that we should have won. We absolutely need to beat MacArthur, and I think we've got the team who can do it.
And a bit of a homecoming for the Villa, hopefully. So,
yeah, I hope he gets a hard time. I hope the crowd get a bit to him. The Villa. Yeah. And then after MacArthur, we go on to play the Cellar Dwellers. The current Cellar Dwellers being Western United. So potentially we could pick up 6 points in the next 2 weeks, which would accelerate us up into the top 5, which would be bloody fantastic.
Going into the World Cup break for a month, that'd be really good, to go into that break in the top 6.
Yeah, I reckon we'll be pinning it. I think the Knicks could finish top 3. I think we could finish 3rd this season, maybe 4th, but I think if we can keep producing results, start getting some big dubs, some big W's, we'll be up there at number 3 with a home semi. How good would that be?
Because it just had 2 games left before the World Cup break, right? Yeah. So...
And we might need that break because after Western United, we've got Wanderers, and Wanderers are currently sitting 2nd on the table, so they're going to be a tough ask.
The first game after the break will be the, second team on the table, so that's a bit of a worry one.
It's going to be a test, but I think we're up for it. I think we could, if we can get 2 wins, MacArthur, and then roll. And then we roll United, then go into the break and come back into after the World Cup window, high on confidence. I think we'll be doing bloody well.
So we'll leave it there, and we'll see how they go against MacArthur on Sunday.
Costa to score 2 on Sunday. Costa to score 2.
And go the Knicks.